This is just some notes to myself on Ashes of the Singularity. Usually for this sort of video, I'd be talking about what's the game exactly, but like it's not a so complicated game like kill all people. This particular mission is interesting because you can't have any ground. You can't have any ground defenses, which is a total pain in the ass. But I wanted to make note of some things that took me a while to sort of get used to coming from a total annihilation.
Not enough metal.
First of all, I get really used to the plus and minus keys, which change the speed and the time of pause. Just FYI, any painting that occurs on the screen when it's paused will get anything that gets painted while you're paused will just stay on the screen. So like the Alt button shows you all of the circle, all of the ring circles. So like if I do this, and then I do this, and then I do this, and then I do this, right? Like it's all just staying there, and it will unpaint as soon as you let any actual movement occur. So just FYI, that's a little confusing to get used to. That's just a minor UI issue. The things that are sort of more interesting, I'm not going to be able to show you normal base defenses on this particular map, but normal base defenses are allowed to come in and catch grab any metal extractors or radioactive extractors for this area, and you do like a couple of Smarties, and maybe a sensor array, a couple of Smarties, which are the ground defenses, and a couple of plastics, and then you make the amplifier, because the amplifier takes a little less time. You want to always bump amplifiers with the optimizability, which, yeah, you can tell when they've been optimized, they've got this lightning effect around them. That's really important. You can then follow up with refineries later, although bear in mind that refineries take quite of everything, time and resources. These over here are your technologies that unlock your various orbital abilities. You're going to want to build orbital nullifiers around more or less every base. That stops the enemy from just like dropping lightning on you, which is kind of important. For sort of serious like forward bases where you're getting a lot of attacks, you're going to want a pair of overlap of orbital nullifiers. You're also going to want, for serious bases, you're also going to want repair bays and drone bays, which are very powerful defense and attack respectively. Having units hovering around a repair bay gets them repaired quite effectively and efficiently, and drone bays sort of haven't gotten much in action very much, but they send out these little tiny things that attack your enemies. Speaking of which, if you're being attacked by drones, which are like little black fuzzy fly things around your units, you can deal with that with the plasma storm, which, as you can see, part of the weapons lab, which I haven't blocked. While I'm in here, by the way, carving turret is extremely effective at tearing down enemy bases. Once you've got your people sort of pushing into a base with all sorts of ground assault stuff, you just drop a carving turret in there, and it will tear up the ground defenses very, very effectively. Make lots of use of EMP pulse and plasma storm. It's also incursion is often super useful when, like, you've got one of those annoying situations with like a lone engineer getting attacked, or actually, more interestingly, incursion and sentry can both be used to get a view on an area. A lot of your units won't drop their death on something, especially your long-range units like artillery units, won't drop death on anything they can't see. So you can deploy an incursion or sentry, or you can use orbital jam. Sensor sweep. And note that you can use sensor sweep to be able to tell where your enemies anti-orbital stuff is. Orbital jammers, orbital nullifiers. Anywhere that they've got an orbital nullifier, this circle will suddenly stop working. It'll suddenly just disappear. Some of them will just go red. There's one there. See? That can tell you where an orbital jammer is if you need to go looking for one. And where there is an orbital jammer, you can just get a sensor view directly, which is super helpful. Like, it would be perfectly reasonable to like park a bunch of artillery people here, and then sensor sweep this area and just watch the rain fire on everybody, which is pretty great. Other things of note, you're going to want to build a ton of quantum relays. Let's see, what is the thing? Yeah, quantum relays. These guys, those are what build up your quanta. Your quanta are what is used for your orbital abilities and also for your quantum upgrades. You are going to want to
Quantum upgrade installed.
They are very powerful, 150%. These are not minor. If you, your enemy most certainly will use these upgrades. If you don't, and I can state with direct experience that when your enemy is 3 or 4 levels of upgrades above you, you just can't defeat them at all. So use the upgrades whenever you get a chance. Let's see buildings you should know about. The Constable upgrades into 2 different air forms. Let's see if we can find it. Constable upgrades into either the Falcon Anti-Air or the Air Eliminator turret. You want to go for Falcon Anti-Airs a little bit more often, especially early, because they're what tear up a bunch of little enemy craft all coming in. The Air Eliminator turrets are more for large single aircraft like the crazy bomber things. Let's see. Oh, okay. So the most sort of important thing that is very, very different. I'm sorry, I'm not sure. Base defenses we talked about, drone base repair base we talked about. Yeah. Okay. So the most, I sort of saved the best for last year. The most important difference between Total Annihilation and this game is in the way that you create and deploy units. Right now we're in the very, very early stages, and I was actually just about to shift over to the style of unit management for the rest of the game, so I'll show you that. So, form army. Now, there's a whole bunch of stuff online about armies and how they maybe don't do what you expect and blah, blah, blah. But what armies do that is amazing is they let you look at the total composition of a force and build just what that force needs to get to where it wants. Now, you can only make armies once you've got at least what are these called? These are called cruisers. So the first level of ground machines is called frigates, and the second level is called cruisers, and then there's dreadnoughts, right? You need at least cruisers to form an army. So you're going to form an army. Now, I can click on these, and so I find it annoying to kind of hover over these and figure out what everything is and blah, 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 but like, I know I want a bunch of brutes, right? Okay, so I click that, look, there's a +1 there. Now I know which one the brutes are. So I've got 4 brutes, I want more, let's go for 10. So that's going to make me 10 brutes. Archer, we can go with 8 archers, that's fine. 4 Hermes is fine, and 10 medics. Now, really important, with all of your armies as quickly as you can, you want as quickly as you can kind of afford. Like, you don't necessarily want this super early on, because like right now we're just trying to build the army up to survive. But most of the time you really want a mobile nullifier, and you really want a Charon and like maybe 2 or 3 just for redundancy. Those, you notice they call it, like, Zeus costs 7 logistics and a mobile nullifier costs 50, right? And there's a reason for that. The mobile nullifier stops the enemy from like dropping lightning on your heads, which, as I mentioned before, is pretty important, right? But the Charon allows people to teleport to your army. So when a new unit is made, that is in the method that I'm going to show you in a second. What we're saying here. So these reinforcements, right? So it's going to make units to fill your requests, And when a new unit is made, with an army that has a Charon, which by the way, its symbol here will have a big like circular projector shape on it that has a Charon. That unit will just get popped immediately into the army, which is fantastic. In this particular case, we're not going to build a mobile nullifier yet because we're just starting out fairly early here, and there's no dreadnoughts floating around, so a couple of those, a couple of those. Now, one slight annoying thing here is that these are I can't give it goals. I can't be like maintain 10 medics, right? So every once in a while, you want to go back to your armies and see how much they've got compared to how much you asked for. Make a couple armies here. Carve off sort of a middle army here because I need an extra one to go back into space. Send them over there, form an army, and we're just going to start with the basics right now because I'm just trying to make a new army that's going to sit here and then eventually send over there. But for right now, we're just setting it up. And okay, those into an army, and then some more brutes. Right now I'm just sort of making the armies for demonstration, so I'm kind of focusing on the simple cheap units. By the way, sorry, something worth noting. Cheap units build very fast in this game. Like the frigates build much faster than cruisers, even proportionate. Like it is possible to field an army of frigates that will take down a pretty sizable army of cruisers just because you build so many more. We've got 3 armies, we need 1 more. 4 we're going to do this for now. We might expand this out later. Generally speaking, you want to keep your armies, this is very early so we're not going to be doing much of this yet, but generally speaking you want to keep your armies focused on one of 3 purposes, which is also how the 3 dreadnoughts work, which is sort of massed opponent management, right? Like so dealing with piles of frigates and cruisers, which you're going to send after you on a regular basis, dealing with dreadnoughts, and dealing with the enemy's bases and static defenses. Although again, dropping in one of those carving turrets is amazingly helpful for that last option. But you're generally, as your economy ramps up and your situation becomes less tenuous, you're going to generally want to go with one of those 3 goals, and then eventually slot dreadnoughts into that, right? So, okay, so we've got this group here, and let's see again. Some archers and some brutes and armies and some medics, and also some of our very normal everyday. What do you call them? Cruisers. I don't think I gave this guy cruisers. I think I want to start with that. Sure. Okay, so now we've got 4 armies that are ready to do their thing and ready to speed up time so they actually sort of put their orders in. And now what notice that's because of the auto reinforcement. That looks like it's a Zeus. Yes, we ordered a bunch of Zeuses, so that seems very reasonable. I don't know how to tell which factory. I don't know how to tell which army a factory is sending stuff to. I got the impression from person who was making an educated guess based on the sorts of things that the army is producing for one. You can't auto-reinforce with air units, as I'm sure you noticed. You generally do want to have air units. You want to have at least a couple of those. So bombers and also is just to make sure that your air units have defense from other air units, right? But you want to be continuously streaming out bombers, and you want to use them as your fast reaction force. You want to have them ready to go anywhere on the map to help defend whatever craziness that might be going on. But at this point, what we should be seeing is that just in case I'm wrong, I'm trying to show you. But what we should be seeing is that very slowly these armies will get multiple additions. So we should be seeing the numbers go up. Like some of these armies. Just wait. Yeah, so that was I know that was 22 a second ago, and now it's 23. I'm not sure who's being fed right now. Yeah, this army seems to be getting most of the love right now. I have no idea how the distribution works. Maybe it fills up one army first. I don't know. But if you just let this sit for a while and nobody's coming in and trashing you too badly, you should eventually have some really strong forces from there. So, there you go. That's just show you about this game. I think it's relatively different from Demolition.